Hello, welcome back to Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. Last time we had hunted a Gobel, which kind of triggers a series of events where now we have to repel the Legiacrus. But we're not going to do that right away. So we're going to talk to the guild lady here. She's like, I know I tend to clown around, but what I'm about to tell you is no joke. Did that get your attention? Did it? I bet you're wondering what's up. Actually, I bet you're wondering if I'm even capable of mature conversation. Well, let's find out. He's back. The Legiacrus, the Lord of the Seas himself. Do you remember when you first saw one? Way back when you first started doing quests? The wild churning in your gut? Well, considering I have been your closest friend your whole hunting career, I think I can say with some authority, you are far and away a better hunter than the one that first ran for dear life from the Legiacrus so long ago. You've matured into a truly skilled hunter. Now it's time to do what you came to do and save Boga Village. Oh, and if killing it is too hard, then just driving it off will be fine. If you scare it enough, I'm sure it won't come back. Also, your fly is down. Haha, made you look. Yeah, they really made the guild lady kind of silly in this game. So this is what the current main quest progression would have us do, but we're actually very close to upgrading our sword. So I need some Pelagasite ore. The easiest way to quickly go grab that is I think it's the Flooded Forest. Yeah, I think. Yep. So we'll go to the Flooded Forest and mine some Pelagasite from under the water. Yeah, this is where I want to be. Because I really only need 2 pieces, and then that will let us upgrade the sword. And Legiacrus is definitely a weapon where you want to bring your best. The gear I have right now, equipment-wise, it kind of flip-flops between pieces, and I think it ends up either slightly okay or slightly bad with the elements that are relevant, but it's not significant, because it's like one piece does -5 the resistance, another piece does +5 the resistance. So at the end of the day, it really doesn't go any direction, any significant amount. Which is fine. I kind of always thought for some reason that the Baroth set would put me at some disadvantage, but having it very well may be fine for the purposes of the fight, especially considering we'll be able to bring full potions, or at least buy them easier without having to craft them and grow all the mushrooms ourselves or hunt for the mushrooms. Usually I would just have grabbed this ore before recording here, but I recognized when I loaded up the game that the guild lady had that little bit of conversation to have, and I figured since it is part of the progression of the main story, I shouldn't just, you know, not capture her conversation, despite it not being tremendously significant. So I just waited. It may well be. I don't even know if I'm going to I guess I could try the Legiacrus. There's really no harm in just giving it a go and seeing where we're at, because it could very well be that it goes pretty quick. I think that first quest where you only have to repel it, it has slightly different stats, so its health is slightly lower. I may be wrong, but I think in repel quests that's the case. Or at the very least it'll flee before you get to the point where the battle gets too strenuous. But who knows? Oh, I really should have brought more pickaxes. I kind of thought for some reason I had a greater number on me, so I hope I get a Pelagasite ore, like, soon. Hey, Macalite is great, but not what I want. Darn, did I seriously only get one? Huh. RNG's is not with me today. Hmm. It's fine if so. I can just run out and do it again. I think the upgrade that I'm pursuing gets me green sharpness on this weapon, but I'm really not certain. Oh, well, there goes our iron pickaxe. I don't think I have another one on me. Oh, no, I do have a mega pickaxe. I lied. I'm okay, provided that one does not break. But I think they increased the durability of pickaxes in this game. They kind of accommodate for the fact that you don't have a farm with mining access anymore. Because it would be really, really strenuous if, like, your iron pickaxe was broken 3 hits. If you had to get maybe 20 pieces of something. Yeah, I don't think there's any other underwater areas that can potentially give Pelagosite. Maybe I'm incorrect there. Oh, okay, there's this one over here. And we'll get lucky and this does it. Perfect. Pelagosite. Iron. Come on, no iron. I don't need iron. Ugh. Okay. Well, I guess I'll come back. Yeah, all the fun of just trying to get the right number out of the number generator. I gotta get this ticket, and that'll let us end the gathering. But, kind of, like, there's a lot of stuff that I got. Lots of macrolite, lots of iron ore. The earth crystals will be useful down the road. Lots of things usually take, like, a significant chunk of those. But it's never fun when the one thing that you're looking for you can't get enough of. Alright. So many of the accessories that I've gotten too are very much for ranged fighting styles, and you know, at the end of the day, it's just stuff to sell for money, but it's still kind of annoying. Yep. Oh wait, yeah, no, maybe I need my number of Pelagosite count was incorrect. I need 2 more. Okay, well, let's see if we can get lucky just going out into the main area. Gonna need more pickaxes. We can't outright buy mega pickaxes yet, so we're kind of subsisting on getting them through some quests, random rewards, raids with either the Argosy or any of the other hunting villages we can send things out to. That said, it's not really a significant drop to not be able to have mega pickaxes. Mega pickaxes are more useful in between, like, series of hunts where you don't want to be restocking for some reason. Most hunting activities outside of that scope, if you're just going to, like, mine every point on a map and you don't mind restocking in between, you'll very rarely break all 5 of your iron pickaxes before you have mined everything on a map. There are, like, some cases where certain monsters, like really big ones, have points on them where you want to mine the area to get rare ore or have a higher chance of getting harder to get things. In which case, it's useful to have a mega pickaxe, just because you may have whatever's in the area, plus the monster itself. Largely, though, it's really not the end of the world. And it's mostly just because so much of the content in Monster Hunter is repeatable. Even if you only get something once, you know, you can just run in the game and try and get it then. There's very few opportunities, I would say, where you can only get something once and then it's gone forever. Which for a game as big as this is actually kind of relieving. I think it would be pretty stressful if, like, hey, you're only gonna see this monster once, and if you don't get everything, well, sucks to be you. Like, that's no fun. Or arguably, like, I could see it being fun if you rework the game to be somewhat roguelike. So, you know, maybe you get to do a certain number of hunts up until you have to fight a big thing or fight like a boss, and your success is varied, and maybe you get something good and you can build some armor, you can build a cool weapon, maybe you can't. Like, I could see a way to kind of tinker with the game to have such a infrequency of stuff be fun, but largely I would say it's just not the nature of the game. Monster Hunter is so grindy that to take that away, you'd probably have a very short experience. And the game does a really good job of disguising its grindiness as valid effort. Because a lot of the time, like, you're having fun with the battles, they're engaging. There's also, until you've played like an obnoxious amount of the game, but even beyond that, typically, there's little things to focus on mastering, you know, dodging a few moments quicker, anticipating something and not even being where you could get hurt at all, figuring out the appropriate directions to dodge, where things go when they flee, where they sleep, where they eat, all of those things. There's always more to memorize. So while you are ultimately, like, grinding for 10 of something, the process of getting there isn't as arduous as, like, go slay 5 boars. At least not all the time. Sometimes. I've definitely had, well, even right now, the only trophy that has eluded me in Monster Hunter World for my platinum is getting all of the crowns. And I have every crown for every monster with the exception of Kieran. And I don't know why the game hates me. I've hunted hundreds of the things. I've captured hundreds of them. I've run the event double quest that lets you fight 2 at the same time. I've done the 5 monster multi-hunts. I've done everything for Kieran. And the game just will not give me that final crown for the monster. It's pretty obnoxious, and it's just the way of it. That feels like just trying to grind something and never getting it. Like you're combating a 0.5 drop rate or something. And so I have an item I'm looking for. It's just the size of Kieran. And I've tried to, like, get it, and you can do what's called sniping a crown, I guess is the terminology. And in that process, you kind of, like, walk up to the monster and see where you stand against it to determine if it is even worth spending the time hunting. And I tried to do that for a long time too, but then I just found that that was inconsistent, like as if there was some invisible flag in the game that determined if it was a crown or not. Because there were things where I had hunted large versions of the monsters thinking, well, eventually this will be the thing. And then there's ones where I was like, ah, no way this is a crown. This is even a silver crown, nonetheless a gold. And then it would be. It would be smaller than ones that I knew to be bigger, but somehow it would be considered a golden crown, and I would get the accomplishment there. So I stopped trusting the sniping and just kind of started to wholesale fight every single one, hoping that eventually it would happen. And it just never did. Such is life. I'll eventually go back in and get it. But when I eventually get to Monster Hunter World here, I had played on PS4 and then PS5 later, and World looks great there, runs great. But I won't be recording on a console. I'll just be playing like my Steam version, which I got on sale because I wasn't going to pay full price twice. And now I'm a little bit concerned as it relates to very, very recent news with Monster Hunter on PC. And then it seems to be that a new DRM has been added, like, in the most recent patches to the game. I don't know the consequence of that. I haven't performance tested myself. I haven't even launched the games on PC. So it could be a nothing burger. And it's just folks overreacting. I tend to be opposed to DRM. If I don't have to have it, I won't. I like the old school method of releasing games. I kind of like being able to back up titles onto external storage or have my installs somewhere, because in this, apocalypse situation where all of society has fallen away, for some reason I'll still have a working computer that can plug in with USB and run those games. So I don't know, the priorities, the fear don't really make all that much sense, but I like the idea of backing stuff up. Maybe it won't even be me, maybe I'd be one of the people that turns into a zombie if everything goes wrong, just biological downfall, bad number toss, I don't make it. Somebody else finds my stuff and it's like, oh sweet, this guy had all the Monster Hunter games, it's awesome. Society could somehow still get that information. It would be like the shittiest movie preserve of all times. Like, have we found the great classics of humanity, everything that we need to form a basis of artistic structure and education for a new society? Oh no, it's just all the Dark Cloud games. What the hell is this? Like, it wouldn't really be helpful for history, but the collection is nonetheless, to me, vital. So DRM does prevent that, but I don't personally overtly mod games. So when folks come at it from a perspective of that, like, they lose all sympathy for me. It's like, oh my god, I can't modify this product that I don't own? Whoa. And like, mods are cool, but I think the games that are the best for mods are when the developers themselves build in support for it. Like, if you look at RimWorld, that's a game that's designed from the ground up to be modded. It's very open about how to mod it. It shares the code base that you can use and the structure. It has a dedicated mods folder. Like, that is a game that's built for it. But there's a lot of things, I would wager to say it's, a lot of Japanese games, Monster Hunter and Final Fantasy and stuff like that. The PC culture is just different in that community. As I understand it, the historical preservation of games is original hardware, original discs only. There isn't really an emulation scene. And modifying stuff because of the stricter copyright rules is just not really done, because you enter legally tumultuous territory. So when a Japanese company like Capcom goes to implement DRM, that may or may not, affect the viability of adding mods. They probably don't care, because it was never part of the mission statement from the get-go. And I see both sides of it. Like, I understand if you buy something and you own it, you kind of have the right to do whatever you want with it, even if it does break it. But when you have things going online, I think you do have to manage and monitor that as well, because there's definitely situations where people like mod their game and maybe they're getting a competitive advantage compared to other players. Maybe they're cheating in the game and then forcing cheats on other players. There's definitely, unfortunately, a lot of history of Monster Hunter of where you'll end up in like a hack lobby, or you'll be playing with a cheater and they'll force incredible experience drops on you. They'll give you all of the materials for a piece of armor. And while, like, that can be fun, and, you know, every now and then cheating is fun in a single-player game, in a situation like that, if it's forced on you, especially, like, if it was me and I just started playing a new Monster Hunter game, and someone gave me everything, kind of, like, took away the accomplishment of doing it myself, like, that would piss me off. I wouldn't like that one bit. And I tend to avoid the multiplayer aspect of the game in general, but that wouldn't be very fun. That said, if the DRM that's being pushed into the games on PC right now affects performance, that's a whole other situation, because performance is king to me. I would rather a really solid performance with lower graphics options any day of the week. But I don't like when things are artificially slowed down because of some random background program. Cool. Okay, I think we have everything. I'll go put away stuff after upgrading my sword, and then we can go try the Legiacrus. What's the harm? Get the actual Buster Blade and green sharpness going. Yeah, I won't be able to go any further until we do Dragonite. But looks like I'm getting everything else. The Maclite, the Ice Crystals. Dragonite won't come until we go to the volcano. But that's fine. We can get there when the time comes. Yeah. Okay, so Baroth is... Yeah, see, he has like these alternating resistances where I don't really know... How do I stack up at the end of everything here? Yeah, we end up with no fire resistance or weakness. Same for water. But we're weak to ice, which I don't really think is going to be relevant for the Legiacrus. And a little bit of thunder resistance, which will be nice. So realistically, we're actually kind of set up for this. All right. Oh well. Put away the stuff. Oh wait, let me check if this guy... Hey, gotcha. You've probably been picking up stuff this entire time. Oh, you had some Pelagosite ore? I could have taken his. The treachery. No, it's fine. Am I not taking you? Okay. No, he's coming with, which is good. I probably don't need the cleanser right now. And I don't really need the cold drink. Okay, throw that all around. Then let's make sure to eat. I'm just dying or something. I'm gonna go for the option that gives me better health. Lovely, and then we'll go see how fighting Legiacrus on this rappel mission goes. You seem like you got some heavy metal, kid. Now prove it. My ancestors called the Legiacrus the Lord of the Seas, and it lives up to its name. I doubt you could kill it, but stop it if you can. Alright, let's see what happens. You never know. So the time of reckoning has come. It appears the terrifying Legiacrus is emerged from the sea. It's been spotted as close as Area 5 on the map. As you well know, kid, Legiacrus is one bad beast. Now, I could have handled him easily when I was your age, sure. Anyhow, you've come a long way, kid. Now is your big chance to shine. Oh, I'm so jealous of you right now. Summon up all your strength and challenge the Legiacrus. Make all of us proud, kid. Okay. So it's kind of one of the biggest differences in this game compared to the others, in that like they have attempted a bit of a story. Like there is always a story, but it usually was like, hey, you're new to town, there's a big thing that's making life hard for everyone, go hunt it. And then you progress towards doing that. And then there would eventually come a point where there'd be like, oh my god, you did it, but also that thing wasn't actually the issue, and there's a bigger, scarier thing. Can you go hunt that? And then you would do it, and then you would beat the game. The story structure is similar here. They've just added more NPCs talking about it. So, the biggest difference. Okay, this is Legiacrus, kind of modeled after an alligator. There are, I think, 2 or 3 versions of this monster in this game. Each progressively more of a challenge than the other. It could be considered, in difficulty, I would say it's a little bit below like a Rathalos. And then it gets up to that point of difficulty when it's underwater. Like a lot of long monsters in this game, you're definitely better at taking off the tail first if you can manage it, if you have a sharpness weapon. Just because it's one thing, like, you reduce the length of the monster, you reduce the area of effect with a lot of its spinning attacks. And you can make your life a little bit easier, especially underwater, where it may be more difficult to dodge those things. This is, of course, the low-ranked version of the monster, so this is as easy as it's going to get. And I think it shares a few moves with monsters that have similar skeletons. So, I think it's Rocktor. It has a similar long body, tail swipe. It has a similar hip check. That being said, this monster definitely has very cool armor, and I may well be incentivized to make a full set. It upgrades pretty well, with the exception of, like, I think it has one strong weakness. I can't remember if it's ice or dragon, but it's a pretty good set to go into rank 4 hunts. Because I think that's what's next, right? Or is it rank 5? Either which way. I wouldn't mind getting Sharpener as a skill in this run, but we'll see. I don't really know how far things are gonna go with this run, because like there's monsters that I want to fight, and Third Ultimate kind of has like a huge swath of creatures, and it has a really big roster. So there's a lot of things, especially as we get to high rank, and this game includes G rank, or now it's now known Master rank. I've never really known why it was called G rank, if I'm being completely honest. I don't know if it's like a god mode, or, you know, there's probably some term. But yeah, I've never known why it was called G rank. It's just, it was. It's one of those things you never questioned. But this game does include that. So it does differentiate from Monster Hunter Portable Third, in that game only had low rank and high rank. But I feel like there are still significant enough differences between the two where it's worth covering both to get a full picture for third generation. Plus, again, the swimming. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes back with the new game, though. I think now that they have the engine and everything set up for World and Rise, and they probably have some high levels of familiarity with the new setup, the new standard of Monster Hunter, I think expansions to the engine are what make a lot of sense, and handling underwater combat is, they would have room for it development-wise, I guess is what I'm saying. They wouldn't have to, this time around, make sure all the movement and walking and running looks good and feels right, because they already have that base established code. It could very much be, and they already have like the Palico code as well, or I can't remember the dog is called, but that's a big aspect of what I imagine they're going to bring to Wilds as well. We've seen this like companion animal that looks like I was just being cocky trying to carve there. That's fine. But yeah, we've seen this new lizard-like companion that looks like we'll be riding and traveling with. It seems to have wings. So I think it's very, very possible that we're going to see more aerial stuff and hopefully underwater stuff as well. And it would be a really big benefit to them as well, because it would let them bring back tons of monsters that maybe haven't seen usage or don't make any sense in this situation. There was early tech demos of Monster Hunter World back before it released, but when it was doing the like circuit of video game conferences and developer conferences and stakeholder meetings and stuff. And there was some released footage that showcased a white Legiacrus in the graphics and world of Monster Hunter World. And I think it was just like a demo fight, probably because of this game, right? Where it's a very high quality model, more or less. So they probably could have imported the version from World or from Third Ultimate really easily into World just to do a proof of concept. But that does mean for a lot of people that they thought Legiacrus would finally be making its comeback when the tech demo was kind of leaked. So, while I'm just chatting about Legiacrus, it's running away from me, because that repel quest was nothing. I casually destroyed it. Didn't even realize we were that far along. Kind of disappointment, but I'm glad we got the tail. You know, at least got a little bit of a carve there. We're chasing this guy like a bully in an old school comic. Going all the way to the corner of your house before leaving you. Look at him just sail into the ocean. I wonder how far he actually goes before he just suddenly disappears. Or maybe he hits a wall and will keep on going. Like, it looks like he kind of hit the edge of where rendered space was. Oh well, we got some claws. Scales. Cool. That wasn't bad at all. Oh, hey, look, we did that, and now we have another boat at town because the oceans are less disrupted. So we can do a lot of trading now, and I think more or less this means the sailors here in town are back to regular function. Kid, you did it. You really did it. I knew you'd be the one to finally drive off the Legiacrus. Unfortunately, I was right this time. Maybe now the village can finally enjoy some peace. You'd best rest up, too. Save whatever strength you've got. The beast still lives, and that's a problem. Once its wounds heal, the Legiacrus will return. And then you'll have a serious battle on your hands. No more Mr. Nice Leviathan. No siree. It's gonna come at you full force. But that's still a ways off. You've got plenty of time to hone your skills, work on your, anyways. I can tell you're itching to finish what you started. And really, ain't that what counts? Oh, since you're still breathing, that sweetheart at the quest counter cooked up some new jobs for you. Have at 'em. Alright. Well, yeah, we didn't even use potions. We used 3 herbs and just talked about nonsense. That's how every hunt should go. Hun, you're my hero. We finally got all 3 boats back on the water. The hunting fleet is whole again. My boys are just tickled. I've never seen them so excited about their work. If you need something, anything at all, you just holler, alright? I mean it. We're at your service. Yep, now we can send 3 boats. We don't really have many places to send them. I don't really need any stuff from them, so we'll hold off, but it's good to know. Blackspear here, the man with the shanties. I'd be indebted to you, matey. At least I can return to the open waters. Such is my joy that I have decided to put it to song. Here be a rousing ditty I call the Demon Harbor's Elite Fleet. Okay, I'm sure somebody has done a theatrical interpretation of that song, but I'm not going to. Yep, your song was great, sir. Yo, I've been meaning to ask a favor. The itinerant cook's got a recipe for extra healthy grade A milk. But you can't make it without the right ingredients. Premium milk makes for dishes that stick to your ribs, good and good for you. I've made a list of everything we need. Try to take some time out of your busy hunting schedule to get this stuff. So the requests continue to build up. I'll get to them. I'm not excessively worried because, well, I just don't need a lot of things yet. Do I have stuff in my inventory I should drop off? Nah, we're fine. Although, maybe I've started to get the equipment for the armor? Yeah, we can start to see the armor, so that's the chest piece. Pretty cool. It's not good against fire. It's not as good against water. It's better against ice, and it's better against thunder, but it is bad against dragon. So all in all, it's not actually all that great. It just looks cool. I mean, it has better defense, but we could get there by upgrading the bear rock. So I don't really know what's best there. You did it. You drove that darn Legiacross right out of the neighborhood. Betcha it took off because it knew the jig was up, that its scales were fried, that its check was mated. Yeah, that's great. Okay, awkward. You don't seem very excited. What's wrong? Aren't you happy you beat up the giant monster? Oh, you wish you'd killed it. You say the whole reason you're here is to stop the earthquakes for good. Yeesh, you are tenacious. I hope I never end up on your hate list. Okay, well, if you're going to be all hardcore about it, then so will I. Presenting a brand new monster hunting request. This time you're going after the queen of the land, the Rathian herself. As for her strengths and weaknesses, I know nothing. You want to know if there are any guild legends about this monster too? Nice try. Thanks to that earthquake, the guilds named this a hazardous region. It's hard to get info through the usual channels. And why do I sound so happy about that? Okay then. So now we can hunt a Rathian, which I see no reason not to do other than the fact that we have horrible fire resistance right now. So if we get blasted, it won't be very fun. We can also hunt a Giganox. I think they have good resistance to fire. No, we're actually decent against thunder. We're really bad against ice. We have no fire resistance. I'm just dumb. So let's go try the Rathian. That'll probably last a little bit longer. I'm gonna do the same thing for the food because food. Ooh, oh no. Okay, I mean, I have all of my potions, I have my herbs, we're as equipped can be. Let's go hunt a Rathian. Now, where would I imagine this thing is going to be? I'll try 3. I kind of imagine we're gonna get a cutscene, but maybe not? Yeah, no cutscene. Sweet. There we go. Rathian like to come in for a meal and then leave, I guess. Wasn't very interested in doing more. Now that we've seen it, where did it go? Only it had a Psycho Serum. No, hey, well, I don't need it. It's right here. Perfect. Hi, Rathian. You gonna do a scream at me? Okay, so inexplicably, you can block those, like, feints that you do when a monster screams really loud. I don't know the logic of it. I don't know if my sword is so big it has sound dampening capabilities. I don't know if it's like just holding my sword up and guarding bestows me with the confidence to stay standing in place. No clue. There could be a variety of potential reasons, and none of them are going to be explained, so just do it. Except that blocking can prevent sound from being loud. It's normal. And the thing is like, there is potential for that. It's just, it's interesting that your weapon has the ability to, like, posit itself to block sound like that. But sound that's so aggressive, it can knock people back. So maybe it's less the sound, and maybe, like, screaming very much does exert a physical force, like a shock wave, because we do see it reverberate through the air. So some localized sort of distortion. Every single monster when it screams is splitting an atom. Something negative is occurring. Oh well. Green sharpness is tremendously useful. I've just been able to kind of constantly deal great damage through this Rathian. Now, the thing is for anyone who hasn't watched this Monster Hunter series before, I'm playing through all of the games, and I have a varying level of familiarity with each of the monster types, just because of how much time I've spent playing the game. But Rathalos and Rathian, just an obnoxious amount of time spent fighting both of these monsters. So is it possible for me to lose? Yeah, absolutely. But I would also consequentially, like, I would rather fight silver and gold Rathian and Rathalos together than maybe like one T-Rex. And even that's kind of changing, because I spent so much time playing Unite, and I needed to get through that really aggressive double hunt, barring your way into further elements of high rank in Unite. And then when Third Portable came around with a Brute Wyvern version, with a Brute, excuse me, Brute T-Rex, I kind of just went, okay, I'm gonna get good at this fight. I had to fight a bunch of T-Grex and a bunch of brute T-Grex in third portable, and I think that was a genuinely beneficial experience. I kind of I speak the language of T-Grex better now, which is also kind of a fun element of getting to play some of the old games. Is it does push you to be a better player, just because the content in general is more challenging. But it also kind of forces you to be a little bit prideful. Because if you come into it and you spend a lot of time doing it, it becomes a lot harder to accept, like, oh, I just don't like this fight, or yeah, my phone was ringing there, but I put voicemail. We're okay. This thing very well may not last much longer. We've already taken the tail, the head's broken. Barely had to heal. But yeah, there's definitely a level of your pride getting involved in things. You don't want to do that. And it's always worth it to kind of try and practice. There's some fights in this game that I just haven't had the opportunity to do in so long. Like, yeah, this thing's limping 5 minutes in. What the heck? I thought this was gonna be a fight, Rathian. Can't even throw a fireball at me. Quite seriously, such a short fight. Oh, now I'm pinned. So this is good. This is a. Oh, it didn't even work. Something like my cha-cha broke it off or something. Wow. Brutal time to be a Rathian right now. Now this is something I've always disagreed with, and I think is dumb. If you cut off the tail, there shouldn't be a situation where you still get poisoned if you get hit with that tail swipe. That's just me and my opinion about this. I've always thought that should be the benefit of cutting off the tail, is that you don't get poisoned with the spikes on the tail when it hits you. But I guess they have changed that. It's just harder to be hit with, but is still a relevant option. Overly ambitious coming up here with yellow sharpness, because like it really is the green that has enabled this fight to go so well. Great. Now I'm gonna get hit here on the side. Okay, perfect last minute dodge. Now let's close the gap and kind of just aim to finish this off. My angle was awful. I migrated badly. That really is, that's high level greatsword right there. So you have to calculate where you're gonna pivot as you move every time. So you can kind of, because you don't want to be right next to the monster unless you're trying to hit something that's high. So like the first points you connect with the monster when you're using the greatsword is the point where the damage is calculated. Wherever that collision occurs, you deal more damage if that point of the collision is at the top of your blade and further away from the monster. So you very much want to be hitting with the tip, and you want to be hitting something vulnerable with the tip, which maybe sounds suggestive. It's not. Well, suggestive of violence. But that's not usually how suggestive gets used, even though that term can mean literally, you know, referencing anything. It usually means something like taboo. Very rarely is somebody like, oh, that was a very suggestive movie. He's like, what was it suggestive of? Oh, just, you know, Coke and burgers. Like, that's never means that. So kind of one of those lost terms where the real meaning is just forever forsaken. Cool. Well, that's one more thing, but every time I think a hunt's gonna take long enough, it doesn't. Oh, a new mask idea just popped into my head. Okay, great, Shasha. I will make a mask for you in the future, I'm sure. But you don't really need to make any of his additional masks up until a certain urgent quest, because the mask that he has gives you an ability you need to survive. So I'm starting to get busy, aren't we? The Legiacrus is here, and the final showdown approaches. It's time for you to hear a few important things from me, so listen up. First, a Rathian's appeared in the woods. She's trying to build a nest, apparently. Always check the Moga forecast if you're entering the woods. Second, our miniature friend, what's his name, Chi-Chi, brought me another set of mask plans. This one sounds pretty interesting. Actually, I'll make it if you get me the materials. And last but not least, this is a story from back in the day, when the Legiacrus attacked us on our boat. The Legiacrus has its limits, you see. When it rages, it'll get tired and try to rest on shore. That's your chance. Now, no pressure or anything. The fate of this village is riding on your abilities. Hope you don't mess it up. Yeah, no pressure at all, man. That's cool. I don't know why, about one. Okay, so we have everything here now. Great, what does the village elder have to say? Well, here we are again, kid. The Legiacrus has surfaced, and this time it's headed right for us. Ah, who am I kidding? It's headed right for you. And boy, is it mad. Guess it took that last stomping you gave it personal, The good news is you're evenly matched, so far as I can tell. All you need to win this one is a little confidence. Oh, being armed with the teeth would help, too. Mosey on over the west counter once you're ready. I'm rooting for you, kid. You took the beast before. You can take it again. I have absolutely no doubt that we can. Congrats on the Rathian hunt. So, I've got some news for you, Hunter. Try not to wet your pants or anything, but your buddy the Legiacrus has been spotted again. Oddly enough, it's angry. All the eyewitnesses reported having headed straight for Moga Village. Uh-oh. The good news is, you get your wish. Now you can kill that sucker dead. You, are gonna kill it, right? It's because, you know, it might destroy the village if you don't. No pressure. You can do it. Rah, and all that. Yeah, now we will do the urgent quest, but not right now. That's probably a next time type thing, but to fill the remaining time, let's do this Lagoni hunt. Shouldn't take terribly long. If the Rathian's only taking 6 minutes, geez, I'm just gonna start the quest and things gonna keel over. And again, just the benefit of green sharpness on a greatsword. Because of the way that sharpness affects the damage that's dealt when you're connecting with a monster, green sharpness is just going to do a larger percentage of the actual damage of the weapon. So the previous weapons that I had for Greatsword, being that they all had yellow sharpness at a height, meant that even if I was having really good connections and hitting really well, I really wasn't doing the full damage of the sword as posted. With green sharpness, I think I am just doing kind of like, I guess what you could call 100%, or maintaining the actual damage number that I should be. So this is a Lagombi. It has the same beast skeleton as Argyros and Volvodon, which means it's going to have very similar moves, including that claw swipe. It'll charge around, and it kind of has a few unique moves in that it'll slide on its stomach. It'll throw ice like that. But largely, this is a very similar fight. It's just a little bit more mobile. Look at that, this thing's already hit me more than Rathlow's Radiant, so it should get like a very good mark on its report card for that alone. It is kind of like, it's an interesting monster, Lagombi, because it's very obviously modeled after a rabbit. It has like the legs and ears and stuff like that. But it's like bear-sized, or... Well, actually, I don't know if it's how true to reality this would be for a bear. There are some huge, huge bears in the world. I think the Kodiak is the biggest. And that would maybe be the closest comparison to this thing size-wise, because the Kodiak bear, I'm pretty sure, is like 900, 1,200 pound animal. And the polar bears are pretty big, too. But this thing, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if the Lagombi was coming up around like 2,000 pounds. Because it's very clearly muscular. It's a horrible comparison because the size difference is vast. But I have a Corgi, and I'm always surprised by how heavy the little dude is. And I think it's just the density of muscle. Like, it's more than you would expect. So even though it's a little dog, you're like, what are you eating, dumbbells? Like, sometimes it's just a heavier creature. So this Lagombi could be 2,000 pounds. That's what I'm saying. Based on my very scientific scale of Corgis weigh more than you would think they are. This thing is clearly about 2,000 pounds. Solved. Done case. And I really should actually paintball it, because this level has caves that can disappear through, and I forget where all the caves connect to 100%. And maybe one of the major benefits of World and Rise compared to the old Monster Hunters, in that you can follow the monsters through most of the transitions in World or Rise. You definitely can't do that here. And oddly enough, I actually kind of hope they bring back the chase a little bit more in the Monster Hunter game. Because there's nothing wrong with, like, getting into an arena and slugging it out and having the fight, the challenge of the fight. But I think if you know, yeah, a cool traversal, following a monster, or maybe, like, initiating the fight with the chase, right? Like maybe there are some flying monsters that you need to like catch, and then they'll start to fight you. Maybe you have to like fly through a valley or a ravine on your new raptor thing and chase it around and navigate that. Maybe it's trying to throw stuff back at you to dissuade you from getting to it. And when you finally get there, you can do the normal Monster Hunter thing. We'll see. I just know, like, if you're trying to improve everything, you kind of have to look at the concept of what it is, not it is how it is exactly as you see it. What I mean by that is, like, there's a lot of running around in monsters and Monster Hunter, and that's fine. It's, you know, moving your character, following the thing, going between areas. It's representative of traveling and tracking through tumultuous terrain. So I think if you expanded that, just like moving through areas, you could make it, you know, run through a blizzard in a snowstorm or in a tundra and barely being able to see ahead of you and having to chase shadows. You could have it, you know, surfing dunes. You could have it flying through tight spaces or navigating underwater caverns. You could have the concept of traversing towards a big scary monster in dangerous environments, and you could just kind of add to the cinematic value of what's being presented or how it's being presented. Because at the end of the day, it becomes the same thing. But, you know, the experience is that much more upgraded. There we go. Not much time spent on that hunt either. Just carving our way through low rank, really. But that would make sense. Low rank does go pretty quick if you know what you're doing. Like, looking at Monster Hunter Portable 3rd, when I did that, I think I beat the game, air quotes, like 11 episodes into the series, but didn't finish it until the 37th episode. Because the content beyond the archetypical main story was so vast that it took way more. It was like the main story, if you only played that for that game, it's like 25% of the experience. And whole swaths of content were locked behind that. Which arguably is not a good gameplay decision, right? Like, it's cool if you know what you're doing and you know the structure of the game. But if you were a newcomer, there's no internet, you don't know what's happening, this is the random game that has a somewhat passable translation from Japanese to English, it would probably just be frustrating. And I think that's why so many people bounced off the series for a long time. Now, well, one more cutscene, one more monster. Most excellent. I can restock what I lost there. Some herbs, a little bit of potion. Awesome. Well, thanks for watching this episode of Monster Hunter Portable. Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. We'll definitely go and hunt that Legiacros next time around, and we'll see what continues to be unlocked. Until then, see you around. Bye.